Hi everyone. This video was inspired by something that I went through, still dealing with, and something that so many people do not take seriously. Heartburn. Sounds simple enough, right? Not a big deal. Take some Tums, get some Rolaids, and call it a day. Some people baking soda and water, and just brush it off and not think too much about it and just kind of suffer through it and deal with it and just move on. Well, after everything I've been through in the last year, a little over a year, I wish I could go back and do something sooner because I was so stupid. I was one of those people that ever since I was, 13, 14, struggling with really bad heartburn, I just did not care, didn't take it seriously, popped Tums like candy, and just didn't think much about it. Really didn't even bring it up to my doctor too much, I didn't really care. About 2 years ago, he did mention putting me on some medication to help with the acid reflux, which I didn't think it was acid reflux because I didn't have it all the time. It would be a few weeks here, not for a few months, here and there, over the years, not a big deal. And I didn't want to be on another prescription because Lord knows I need to be on another prescription. And so I went to humor him and I'm like, well, okay, I'll go ahead and get this. Well, the medicine he wanted to put me on was like $500. So I called him up and I was yelling at him like, this is a car note, So I didn't do anything about it. I got some more Tums, Rolaids, called it a day, whatever. Well, I didn't take it seriously. As stupid as I was, I did not take it seriously. And the reason I'm doing this video is to hopefully have somebody who, maybe has some of the same symptoms, see a doctor before it gets to the extent that mine has. And I was talking to a friend yesterday and we were just discussing a few things and it started to sound like she was dealing with a lot of what I was dealing with, just on a lot milder of a situation. So I wanted to go ahead and make this video, sorry I knocked my camera, to talk about it, because if I knew then what I know now, I would have found a way to get that medication, because it's been a headache, a nightmare, and it's just been a lot of drama. So heartburn, who knew that it could cause so much damage? And with me, I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have it all the time. It was just here and there. And when it would be bad, it would be like spitting up lava. I used to call it like my little fireballs, And, I just dealt with it like most of us do, just deal with it. About a little over a year ago, I started having chest pains, which I get it all the time. Ever since I was a kid, I would always have the pain right here between my breastbone, well, on my breastbone. And it would feel like you got a burp, like a bubble that wouldn't come up. But over a few days, it would actually feel like it was coming from the back. So I always joke that it feels like I'm being impaled slowly. And it would last a few days and go away. Didn't think anything of it. Didn't even bring it to my doctors ever. And once it started last year, it didn't stop for about 6 weeks. And yes, I know I was stupid. After everything I've been through lately, I did not want to go to the doctor again and again and again. I'm sick of doctors. And so unless I'm dying, I don't go, except for blood work, and my medication refills. But I've been to so many doctors in the last few years that I didn't want to deal with it. And I didn't want to be on another prescription because God knows I'm on so many as it is. And, another thing, when you have an autoimmune, like I do, have Hashimoto's, thyroiditis, and then you bring up, oh, you're having another thing. And it's just, I didn't want to deal with it. And I was stupid. So some warning signs. And I'll kind of tell you a little bit what I went through because I really should have done something sooner. I did not recognize that these are spasms, and you can get spasms that are esophagus spasms. Well, I won't keep this like an extremely long video. I'll try my best to keep it a little shorter, but when you have really bad heartburn, you really need to see your doctor and get on medication, because what I went through, if I would have just took the medication, or even if I would have taken a weaker medication, maybe something cheaper, this wouldn't have happened. A little over a year ago, again, had the pain, about 6 weeks, you know, and I made an appointment. I did my lab work because I did not want to see my doctor without my lab work. So after when it didn't go away for about a week, you know, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and see about scheduling an appointment, do my labs first. So, you know, waited a week, schedule my appointment to do my labs, and then, okay, of course, it takes about 2 weeks. I didn't want to see my doctor with this pain and him say, let's do labs. I wanted to go in with the labs in hand. Really should have just went and saw him to begin with. But come to find out, you know, it's esophagus spasms, and that causes the pain. And when you start feeling like you're being impaled, it comes out the other side. It's just the nerves from your esophagus that's spasming, and it feels like the bubble, but it starts to mess with the nerves in your spine, and it feels like it's coming out your back. So that's what that was. But the really stupid part why I didn't see a doctor, I started having breathing issues, and I really did not know what it was, and I started getting really worried because it happened pretty quickly, and it got to where I was gasping for air like a fish. I'm like, you know, and I'm at work and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, what is going on? I did not know. So that's when I really got worried, made the appointment, and got my blood work back and saw the doctor, and my oxygen levels were low, so my red blood cell count was high. It wasn't extremely high, but he was concerned about it, so I told him that I was having trouble breathing. And, you know, back and forth to doctors, and I told him that I was having, you know, the spasm. You know, I didn't know there were spasms at the time. And, you know, he mentioned that they could be. So long story short, saw the GI, did the scope down my throat. He did a few biopsies, 4 of them, to check for, you know, celiac and fungus and all kind of stuff, you know. And the next day after the biopsies, I started having complications. Now, I always have this weird hiccup that I do, and I do it a whole lot more now, but now I know what it is. And it feels like a pressure, like right here, and you feel it, and then it releases, and it's not a hiccup, but it kind of sounds like them, but sometimes they can be squeaky, sometimes they can be loud, and I swear I can wake the neighbors, and they can be embarrassing. But I usually only got those when I drink carbonation, which that's why I don't drink sodas anymore. Well, not the only reason, but because every time I would drink one, I would hiccup, and it would be embarrassing. So, and then if I, you know, when I ate, if I ate a certain amount, I would hiccup, and I'm like, okay, I'm done, because anything past that, my stomach's going to hurt. So I just, you know, that was like my cutoff. Oh, I'm done. You know, I hiccuped. But it got to where the next day my stomach felt so bad and it hurt so bad. And then I had a friend of mine who convinced me that if I didn't contact the doctor, she would. So I wrote him a long email and explained what I was feeling, and he said that they were stomach spasms. So for most of my life, the hiccups were stomach spasms, but they were pretty innocent. They were just more annoying. They didn't cause pain, but ever since I had the biopsies, they've caused a lot of pain. And when I say pain, imagine having a Charlie horse where your muscles just tighten in your stomach, and you can feel your stomach just, you can feel it spasming. Like now I can feel it spasming, and then I know it's coming, and then it feels like it. So when I hiccup, it's more of a suction. And goodness forbid, I can never get one on video. As many times as I do it, as much as I do it, I know when I'm going to do it, you know, for the most part. But let me put a camera in my face, and I cannot do it. So I don't get it. But after I did all that, he said that I wasn't completely diagnosed with EOE, but I'm almost there. So I'm not officially diagnosed, but he keeps bringing up the fact that it sounds like EOE, and I'm like, yeah, I know, but I'm not officially diagnosed. EOE is an autoimmune food allergy, and I do have a wheat allergy, so it ties into it. Hashimoto's ties into celiac and wheat allergies. Yay us. But luckily I don't have celiac, thank God, because I feel so bad for people with celiac, because I mean, I just have a wheat allergy, you know. Yeah, it gets really bad, my hands bleed, but they get so sick, like food poisoning. I mean, it's terrible, and especially if you're very sensitive. Now, I do have issues, but nowhere near like that, so thank God I don't have celiac, and I'm sorry for people who do. I really am. I'm so sorry, you know. But ever since I did the biopsies, it's just been really bad. And then now I've started noticing if I go too long without eating, you know, I'll start to spasm and I'll hiccup. And then once, a few weeks ago, I'm still having the breathing issues, and I started having breathing issues at Walmart, and I'm like having to And I feel like I couldn't fill my lungs up. And a few of my other videos, I actually was having breathing issues and didn't really know what it was. And so I'll get to that in a few seconds. But he was kind of worried the fact that, why are you having stomach spasms? Why are they doing that? Yay. So now I'm on medication for that. And so I get to where I breathe, I can't breathe, and then I start having spasms with the big hiccups, and then I actually started to gag. And they were pretty violent gags, and I had to actually leave the store and just walk out because I was worried that, one, it's embarrassing, two, people are looking like, what is, so I didn't need that. And then I was scared I was going to get sick on the floor and it would be nothing but acid. And the last thing you want when you have heartburn is acid, because we found out that I have really, really bad acid reflux that goes all the way up to most of my esophagus. I have rings and everything. So even though I didn't really feel heartburn at all times, obviously I still had it, which in my mind, like most people's, I did not know that if you don't feel the heartburn, it's not there. No, it's still there. Yay. So I actually have stomach spasms. Now they're really, really bad. I have to take a shot every day, to try and control the spasms. I take pills. He put me on one medication that was like a Valium, but a baby Valium, but it started giving me headaches, like prednisone, so I can't take prednisone. And so it's supposed to relax it. So trying new things, and I have to make sure that not to get to the point where I start breathing weird or start gagging, because it can happen, slowly, or it can be immediate. Immediately I can't breathe. Immediately I'm spasming and I'm gagging, and it's embarrassing, And then the breathing is like, oh my God, what is going on? So we did all of that, still couldn't figure out, did the allergy food test, blah, 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 videos on that, that drama. Oh my goodness. So finally went to the doctor about a month and a half ago. And of course, my oxygen levels are still low. So I was talking to him, went back to the GI, and me and him had words. We had words because within 1 minute of meeting me, he had diagnosed me with panic attacks. Panic attacks. So I spent about 45 minutes, I think, because he went to look at his clock, his watch, and then he realized not to do that. So it was almost an hour. Chewing him out. I wasn't rude. I wasn't bitchy, but I was firm because I know what a panic attack is. I've had one. I raised my niece, and the day that I realized, oh my God, I'm going to be a single parent, I had a panic attack. I know what it is. I know what it feels like. That wasn't it. This isn't it. Why would I have a panic attack sitting at work? I don't have a lot of stress. So we went back and forth, and I did. I kind of was extremely firm with him and explained to him a lot about my medical history and the tumors and the doctors. And, most of me trying to figure out what was going on was me. I love my doctor, don't get me wrong. But I saw about 50 of them that were just idiots, oh, use this, oh, you're overweight, oh, well, you're crazy, oh, it's just you're a woman, oh, that's you making it up, that's not happening. So I know what's going on, and I told him that I know my body, I know when something's going on, and I said, if you won't do anything, I will walk out this door, and I grab my purse, and I said, I will find someone who will. I said, because I just want you to listen to me. And we were talking, and, I mentioned about the tumors, and I told him, I said, I went through 3 years of doctors at the doctors just dismissing me, when I almost died. The surgeon said I was within 6 weeks of my heart stopping, if that. So I was pretty pissed. So I chewed him up, down, left, right. And, I'm like, what? I don't know if I'm going to see him again. So, after that meeting, I was livid, and so I did have to go back to him because he ran a test, barium swallow, and another one. And so I had to go back for the results. Otherwise, I would never saw him again. But when I walked in the door, he walked in, actually. He shook my hand because, I always shake my hand, be polite, whatever. He wouldn't let it go. He just looked at me with like tears in his eyes, and he was just wouldn't let my hand go. And I was like, okay, can I have my hand back? What is going on? Because I'm already mad at you. What are we doing? And so I just looked at him, and I was like, oh, okay, okay. And I had to just wait for him to give me my hand back. But he finally sat down, and he said that after me chewing him out, that he understands and he's listening to me, and that, you know, he hears me. And at the end of the first conversation, that's what I told him. I said, all I want is for you to hear me. You know, I don't want you to just listen. I want you to hear me. So, you know, if I tell you something's hurting, something's hurting. You know, I broke my knee and didn't know for 3 weeks. I broke my ankle and didn't know for 2 weeks. I mean, so when I say something hurts, it hurts. So, and he said that the look on my face and the worry, that he really took me seriously. And I understand there are so many people that are hypochondriacs and, oh my God, I'm dying. I get that, but I'm not like that. So anyway, so we're trying to figure out what's going on. He was mentioning some tube down my throat when I'm awake. And I told him, I said, well, that's what it takes, and that's what it takes, because I want you to see what I'm dealing with, the spasms. But the only thing is there's no guarantee that that's going to trigger my stomach to spasm. And I can't seem to catch it on tape. I did show him me gagging. He said it was very dramatic. So I don't know. I'm hoping he's not like making like I'm doing it, whatever. But, you know, we'll see. But, you know, I just want him to take me seriously. So, you know, he wanted me to go and get an asthma test and a few more tests and all this and all that. So, you know, I listened to him and we talked a bit, and he put me on this medicine. And, you know, I'm not taking it now. He's probably not happy. But, you know, it gives me headaches. So, anyway. Went back to my other doctor, who I love. I love him. He listens to me. He understands me. He's been there through almost all of it. And I mentioned, I said, oh, yeah, and, you know, my GI wants you to run an asthma test. And he's like, why? I said, I don't know. So, you know, because I was like, I know I don't have asthma, you know, whatever. I've never had asthma. So before we ran the test, you know, I'm talking to the doctor, and they take me back to do the test. I'm waiting. He pulls me into the room and he talks to me. And I said, well, it's weird. I've never had asthma. I've never had the breathing until a year before, when all this started. You know, the stomach and all this. And I said, I've never had a problem. And he looked at me. He's like, well, there is such a thing called acid reflux induced asthma. I had no idea that even was a thing. No idea at all. I had acid reflux. Heartburn can give you asthma? What? Okay, so that's something I'm going to have to Google, because, okay. So he explained that basically when you're spasming, it can trigger, there's a nerve in your near your esophagus with your trachea. So your windpipe has that nerve, and as you're spasming, even before I feel the spasms, I'll start having a breathing. So it triggers that nerve to think, oh, there's acid coming up, don't get into the lungs, let's close up the lungs. So that causes the asthma. So I did not know that was a thing. Something as simple as heartburn can cause asthma. So anyway, so we went ahead and we did the test. And when you do the little test, you're supposed to breathe out as hard as you can and then breathe in. And it's supposed to make a circle. Well, mine, when I did it the first time, it got halfway through. And so we did it 3 times, and it would go all the way and go halfway through. I didn't know anything about it, so I was like, all right, whatever. So we did the inhaler, the whole, 15-minute whatever. Sure enough, and I wasn't even having an asthma attack. I wasn't having any breathing issues really at all at that time. So I was like, well, how are they going to know anything? But sure enough, the second time, it was a complete circle. I could breathe in and out, and it matched. So now I'm on an inhaler, and we still do not know what's causing the stomach spasms. Ever since I had the biopsy, I guess it just, I'm weird. My body's stupid. I don't know what it does. But that was a lot of drama with it. So people think that, oh, well, heartburn, just take a Rolade or Tums, but I had no idea that it could cause the spasms. And unfortunately, because I was stupid enough where I waited, it might be permanent. So my esophagus is inflamed. I have issues swallowing. As I eat, sometimes my asthma gets really bad because it's swollen, and then I'm like trying to eat and breathe and try and breathe and not choke. And then sometimes I'm just like, you know what, I'm done. It's not worth it. I'm done. So food gets stuck in my throat as it is, I can't breathe. I'm gasping like a fish, looking like an idiot, eating And it's not fun. It's not attractive. If I ever want to go on a date, I got to go for coffee because God forbid I look like a fish. But it's frustrating. So all because of heartburn. I have an inflamed stomach spasms, an inflamed esophagus, esophageal spasms, acid reflux induced asthma. Fantastic. And guess what medicine I'm on? The $500 a month medicine. Luckily, my insurance, I'm almost at 100%. So I'm just worried about next year because the medicine that the GI gave me is just not strong enough. It is so not strong enough because I would take it and a few minutes later I would burp and it would be like foamy hot bubbles, like vinegar and baking soda mix. And I'm like, okay, but I wasn't having heartburn. So I thought everything was okay. I'm not having heartburn. Ever since I got on these pills, I'm not having it. Well, obviously, I'm still dealing with, the acid reflux because I'm still having so many issues. And unfortunately, there's no way to tell if this is going to be permanent. So I don't know, but something as simple as heartburn. And I was having this conversation yesterday with a coworker of mine, and she was just chatting at lunch, because she was watching me, try and eat a gluten-free sandwich and, choking and trying to breathe. And we just started talking, and she started mentioning, things, and I started asking her questions. And then she says it might be talking, and we figured it might be his asthma. And then somehow we just started talking, and I started asking questions like, well, do you get food stuck in your throat? And do you ever feel like a bubble here? And she says, yeah, every now and then. And so I gave her some heartburn medicine, and I have an extra 2 inhalers because luckily I don't have to use them every day. It just triggers it sometimes. Mostly it's when I don't eat in time, and sometimes it's, it just randomly does it. So I was like half used, so I'm like, here's an inhaler until you see your doctor, because she actually had an asthma. I'm assuming it's an asthma attack at work when nobody else was there, and I don't want that to happen to her because she was really panicking. Luckily with me, I didn't panic. It was more annoying. I was concerned, but I wasn't panicking, and I don't want her to panic, and I want her to at least have an inhaler. So I gave her some of my samples, of my heartburn medicine, and told her to see a doctor. And I told her about the acid reflux induced asthma. And I said, well, at least now when you see your doctor, because of course they diagnosed her with panic attacks because they don't listen. And she was saying that, she wasn't having them. And she was saying how the doctor just said that no doctor here was going to listen to her because she was just having panic attacks and she just needed to deal with it. And I was just appalled by that because that is ridiculous. So I told her she wanted to see a good doctor to go see mine, but that at least now she has a stepping stone to figure out what possibly could be what's wrong. And it took me a little over a year to figure out that's my breathing. So every time that I was having that breathing issue, and some was more severe than others, some was long and just annoying, and some was very bad where I had to lean over and try and feel my lungs. And whenever I would feel my lungs completely up, it felt so good that I would hold my breath for a few seconds and then try and do it again. So I was having an asthma attack, and there was twice where it was really bad, and I had no idea. I should have went to the hospital or something. So I'm just saying, if you have that little bubble right here, that pain in between your breast, on your breastbone, and it lasts for a few days, and it's not a burp, and it starts to go through the other side. Not everybody has it go through the other side. Not even me. Every time I had it, it would go through the other side. But if you ever have those and you may get food stuck in your throat, I mean anywhere of your esophagus. Mine is of course right here by my thyroid, so I thought it was my thyroid. We did a scan first, but I have a goiter as well, so I thought maybe it was just my goiter. So but you can have it anywhere. And heartburn, even if you don't feel it, it's still there, which is, most people don't think about it. And again, my acid reflux was all the way up my esophagus. And that can cause cancer. It can cause ulcers. It can cause a wide array of issues. And I did not take it seriously. And I'm just trying to pass that knowledge on to you so you don't go through what I went through. And like I said, the breathing, that, asthma, the spasms, the stomach spasms, the shots every single morning just to control my stomach spasms, the pills and pills and more pills, and then this might be permanent. I hope not, but it might be. So I just wanted to share what I've been through, to maybe, if you have some of the symptoms, to have something to speak to your doctor about, to have that stepping stone of, hey, I heard about this. Is this something that I could have? And if they dismiss you with, oh, it's a panic attack, get up and walk out and find someone who would listen. Because if they tell you that, like I said, I heard that within 1 minute of meeting me. So, and she did too, and she got screamed at by the doctor, and we would have had words after that, but so if you have any of these symptoms, and if you do have heartburn, and like I said, if you don't have to feel it all the time, go to your doctor and just get some tests done, barium swallow. They say the stuff's nasty. I honestly don't remember. I just remember it was so swollen. It hurt so bad to swallow that stuff, because you have to do, it was like a 45-minute barium swallow. They flipped me up and down on the table and sideways and so I don't remember tasting bad. The second time it still didn't taste bad. So, just go get it done, and just at least ease your mind, because like I told her, you don't want to end up like me, where it's really severe and I have a lot of complications, all because I didn't know, and I didn't have anywhere to ask my doctor, and I had no idea. So, and again, this might be permanent. So just trying to help you and anybody so you can not be like me. So I hope this helps. Sorry it was so long. Sorry if it's all over the place, but I just really want people to take heartburn and acid reflux more seriously, because if I would have got on that medicine 2 years ago, even a low dose one, who's to say that any of this would have happened at all? And if I wouldn't have waited the 6 weeks, but I didn't want to see the doctor like most people. So I just hope this helps, and ask your doctor. That's all I can say. Good luck.